The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 56. Charlie hadn't spoken all the time, but when he saw Isabella's father, he even picked up the rolling pin and suddenly became angry. It's nothing more than talking cold words and personality attacks and insults. After all, it was his wife who came to help send off her friend, not to take care of other people's housework, so all he thought was to drive the car and leave quickly to complete the task of sending off the girl. However, seeing that the other three people, parents and younger brother, he is really intolerable. So he blocked his wife Claire and Isabella behind him, looked at Isabella's father, and said coldly, "Do you know that all your actions are illegal? You interfere with your children's marriage? Freedom is against morality, personal assault is against the law, the intention to sell daughter is again a criminal act." Isabella's father said in a cold expression, "How old are you? What does our family's affairs have to do with you? Before I kick you out, you dare to pretend to be in my house?" Charlie said with a shame, "Today is forced, I still pretend to be." After that, he said to Claire and Isabella, "It's getting late, let's leave now, if anyone dares to stop, I will not forgive him." In fact, Isabella is now in a hurry, because if she goes to the hotel prepared by her mother-in-law and misses the auspicious time booked by her mother-in-law, she will definitely be even more dissatisfied with her. It doesn't matter if her mother-in-law gives her face, the point is, she doesn't want her to put pressure on her fiancé. In fact, her mother-in-law has always looked down upon her, and she has been desperately preventing her fiancé from marrying her, because their family really feels that the situation in their family is too far from them and is not worthy of their family. However, the fiancé has been under pressure and repeatedly said that he did not want to marry. This time, the two of them used the method of unmarried first pregnancy in order to get married. Finally, it was considered as a compromise with the in-laws. Therefore, it doesn't matter if in-laws embarrass her a little. As long as today, she will be able to be with her fiancé in good faith. So she seriously said to her parents and brothers, "I know you are very dissatisfied with me, but for the past 2 decades, I have always obeyed your instructions, obeyed your wishes, and taken into account your feelings. The only thing that didn't follow you was to enter the university. Now, it's the second time that I didn't follow you. I hope you can consider it for me. After all, I am also a human being, not the assets and tools of the Jones family. I also pursue happiness." "Right!" Isabella's father shouted angrily, "I will never allow you to step out of this door today." Charlie said coldly, "You are not qualified to stop this matter today. You dare to stop and try." Isabella's brother yelled angrily. "She won't let me get married, then she won't even want to get married. You outsider, get out of the way, be careful that I kill you." Charlie raised his hand and slapped him sharply, slapped him to the ground with a slap, and turned around several times. When Isabella's father saw that his precious son had been beaten, he gritted his teeth and picked up the rolling pin, and slammed Charlie on the head. Our Jones family has a single pass for several generations. If you dare to beat my son, I will kill you. Seeing the strength of the opponents smashing at Charlie, Claire was big enough to smash a person's head into a scoop, and said nervously, Charlie, be careful. Charlie didn't move, just looking at the oncoming rolling pin. The next second, he waved his hand violently, and directly cut off the thick wooden rolling pin with his bare hands. Isabella's father used all his strength and felt that the stick was hitting hard steel. Then, a violent vibration came from the tiger's mouth. He immediately let go of his hand and hugged himself because of the pain. Screamed at his wrist. Look at the rolling pin, it has been broken in two. This shocked Isabella's father. Such a hard rolling pin can also be cut by hand, and the other party seems to have nothing at all. This guy looks like a practitioner. How can he afford such a character? In case he beats himself into a concussion with a punch, he will find someone to make sense. After all, he is just an old sling with no money and no power. After being beaten, there is no way to find someone to help avenge. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but become jealous of Charlie. Seeing that he was afraid to step forward, Charlie said to Claire and Isabella, "Let's go." Although Isabella's father and younger brother were full of anger, they did not dare to step forward to stop them at this moment. Isabella's mother sat on the ground and cried, "You have no conscience. I raised a daughter like you and really blinded my son. If you just leave like this, go and marry that Cardin, I just jumped directly from our stairs, and let me die." "Mom!" Isabella cried and knelt down and begged, "I beg you to let me fulfill my dream this time. Give me 2 years. I must find a way to make more money for my brother. For the first payment of a house, if you agree, I will do what you say. If you don't agree, then I have nothing to do. No matter how you force me, I must marry Cardin for the sake of the child in my stomach today." Isabella's mother cried hoarsely, "I don't care, your brother can't wait for 2 years. You must buy the house within half a year at most. If you agree, give your brother a note. Oh no, it's better to give your brother writes an IOU of 300,000, and the IOU states that it will be repaid within half a year. If you write it, I will let you go. If you don't write it, I will show it to you." "Yes." Isabella's younger brother Xiao Feng also hurriedly said, "Sister, you write me an IOU. I will go back to the blind date. People ask me about the house, so I can use the IOU to talk about things and let the girl relax her heart." Isabella collapsed, and blurted out, "Where can I get 300,000 in half a year? Are you trying to force me to death?" Isabella's mother yelled, "If we don't force you, how can we know how good you are? Anyway, you have to write this 300,000 IOU today, or if you don't write it." "Impossible." Isabella completely gave up, stood up, and said blankly, "I can't live for you for everything. Since you don't agree to my solution, then forget it and I will not support you." After she finished speaking, she was cruel and said to Claire, "Claire, let's go." Claire nodded and took her down the stairs. Charlie followed behind, staring at the family of 3. The 2 men did not dare to come forward. The woman saw Isabella really gone, so she cried and said, "Things with no conscience, go, and I will jump down here when you go. You wait. Collect the corpse." This time, Isabella did not look back, nor did she wipe the tears that kept falling. After the 3 of them went downstairs, Xiao Feng said anxiously, "Dad, Mom, she just married like this, what can I do?" If I can't ask a wife, then I will die." As soon as Isabella's mother heard this, she immediately got up from the ground, ignoring the dirt on her, gritted her teeth and said, "Come. Even if I have to lay under the wheel today, I will stop her." When Charlie and Claire took Isabella all the way out of the community, Isabella was still wiping tears. Claire was always comforting, but Charlie didn't come forward wisely. When they came out of the community, the two people parked two supercars on the side of the road, and the passers-by who had been competing for a photo surrounded them. Charlie stepped forward to separate the crowd in front of the Aston Martin, and then opened the passenger's door to let Isabella sit in first. Looking at the Aston Martin ONE77 in front of her, Isabella was stunned. She asked in surprise, "Claire, this car?" Claire smiled and said, "My husband asked his friend to borrow this. Don't worry, these two supercars will drive you to your in-laws' house, and they will definitely save you face." Isabella said guiltily, "Claire, I meant that your BMW was already very good when I saw it. I didn't expect you to find a friend to borrow a car for me, and to take favors in front and back. How embarrassed." Claire said earnestly, "Girl, we have been classmates for many years, and we are still good sisters. I must do my best when you get married for such a big thing. Do you still have to be polite to me for this kind of thing?" With that, she patted Isabella on the shoulder and smiled, "Okay, don't be so polite. Get in the car quickly, we have to go back, otherwise it will be too late." Isabella nodded lightly with red eyes, and said seriously, "Claire, thank you." Claire gave her a comforting smile, then helped her and sat in this Aston Martin. At this time, Isabella's family who rushed over suddenly saw them and rushed over. Seeing that the other party drove two weird-looking cars, Isabella's mother hurriedly said to her husband, "You lie in the front and I lie in the back." Isabella's father nodded, and then the couple lay under the wheel one after another. Isabella's mother sullened her heart and shouted coldly, "If you want to leave today, you will run over the two of us." At this moment, Xiao Feng was a little dumbfounded. His parents don't know super sports cars, but as a young man, he is a stinky silk who dreams of having a lot of money all day long. He is naturally very familiar with sports cars. So he recognized the origins of these two cars at a glance, and he was astonished as if struck by lightning. There are tens of millions of luxury cars, and there is no third one in Oris Hill. The only two cars are here. So Xiao Feng was very frightened. He couldn't figure out why Claire and her husband could afford to drive two such expensive top luxury cars. Could it be that her husband has a big background? Thinking of this, Xiao Feng couldn't help but trembled. Can afford to drive such an expensive luxury car? That proves that the other party's worth is more than billions. If it irritate them, can his family survive? At this moment, Charlie looked at Xiao Feng and said lightly, "I am not a very good person, and my endurance is not very strong. I will give you 10 seconds to solve this, otherwise you will take the consequences." Charlie is also very clear that it is impossible for a young man like Xiao Feng not to know Aston Martin and Bugatti Veyron. As long as he can recognize this car, he knows that he is someone he can't afford. In this case, he will definitely take his disgusting parents away. When Xiao Feng heard Charlie say this, his whole body trembled with fright, and hurriedly reached out to pull his mother, and said anxiously, "Mom, Get up quickly, how can you lie here? His mother curled her eyebrows and said, how can I change your house if I don't lie here? Did your brain kick the donkey? Xiao Feng almost cried. He lowered his voice and gritted his teeth in his mother's ear and said, Mom, are you crazy? We can't afford these 2 people. The 2 cars alone are worth 100 million. What? When Xiao Feng's mother heard this, her eyes suddenly became dark. 1 billion, what is this concept? Even if there are 1 million, he is already a very rich man in her eyes. If there are 10 million, he is a big man who they can't afford to provoke, and 1 billion is just like a god. What's more, people are not worth 100 million, but they drive 2 cars, and only 2 cars are worth 100 million. Thinking of this, she hurriedly asked, what you said is true. Are these 2 weird cars really worth so much money? Xiao Feng nodded like smashing garlic, and while pulling her, he said, can I still lie to you? You think I don't want a house. But in this case, how can we force it, just in case you offend a big man? Our family has to suffer. Xiao Feng's mother shivered in shock, and quickly got up from the ground, and then went to the other end to pull her husband. Xiao Feng's father still didn't understand what was going on, so Xiao Feng whispered in his ear again. It didn't matter to say that, his face turned pale with fright. Xiao Feng said to Charlie with fear and respect, Brother, I'm sorry to trouble you, I hope you will not remember the villain. Seeing that the family hid wisely, Charlie said in a cold voice, Okay, if you know it, I don't want to see you anymore. Get out quickly and keep rolling, otherwise you will be at your own risk. Xiao Feng quickly complimented and said, Don't worry, big brother, we'll get out of here, get out of here. Charlie ignored them, got into the cab of the Bugatti Veyron, started the engine, and started the car first. At this time, his mobile phone received a text WeChat from Claire. The content read, Husband, do you know a friend who makes a wedding dress? I want to pay for Isabella to rent a better wedding dress, her set of dress is too old. Charlie's 5 fingers flew, and he returned a message to his wife, Wrap it on me. Claire sent another message, Height is about the same as me, just a little thinner than me. Look at me and help me determine the size. Thank you, husband. Charlie replied, Wife, don't be so polite with your husband. Later, while driving, he called Warnya. After all, it is something that girls like wedding dresses are very concerned about. He thinks that if you look for big bosses like Mr. Orville or Isaac, they definitely don't know much about it. However, Warnya must be very knowledgeable about these, and it must be right to find her. Warnya didn't expect to receive Charlie's call early in the morning, and she was immediately overjoyed. Since she took the initiative to give a kiss to Charlie on his birthday, she hasn't seen Charlie again, mainly because there is no good opportunity and excuse. She was a little scared at first, afraid that Charlie would alienate from her in the future, but now she received his call and it immediately relieved her heart. So she couldn't hide her joy and asked, Mr. Wade, what can I do for you? Charlie asked her, Warnya, do you know who has the best wedding dress in Oris Hill? Wedding dress? Warnya asked in surprise, Mr. Wade, what do you want to do with the wedding dress? Charlie said, my wife's high school classmate got married today, but lacks a decent wedding dress, so I want to ask if you can help me solve one. Warnya smiled and said, "Of course I can." It is an honor for Warnya to work for Mr. Wade. After speaking, she explained, "Yes, I forgot to tell you. The only Virawan bridal shop in the province is invested by me. There are many top wedding dresses designed and made by Virawan. You know your wife's classmate's body size? I will prepare a set that fits her." Virawan is the world's most famous Chinese wedding dress designer. Even when the daughter of former US President Clinton got married, she wore wedding dresses designed by her. Beckham's wife Victoria wore the wedding dress she designed when she married Beckham, and the famous Britney Spears and the granddaughter of the Macau gambling king all wore her wedding dress to the wedding hall. With Virawan's international influence, she generally only opens stores in top big cities around the world. The reason why she opened her store in the second-tier city of Oris Hill is mainly because she has a good personal relationship with Warnya, and Warnya likes her designs very much. Wedding dress, so Warnya invested in a shop. Generally speaking, the price of a wedding dress designed by Virawan is more than several $100,000. The vast majority of people are just hopeless. Charlie knew very well that his wife Claire Friend was not in a better position. After seeing that she had been treated unfairly, he must hope to help this poor classmate raise her eyebrows. Therefore, when Warnya said that she wanted to prepare Virawan's wedding dress for him, he agreed without hesitation. However, he knew in his heart that everything needed a degree, so he said to Warnya, "Warnya, this is just my wife's high school classmate, so you don't put too much energy into it, and don't put a brand new value expensive. Bring the wedding dress. It's best if you use the wedding dress you rent out. Just bring it and lend me for a day." Warnya said hurriedly, "Mr. Wade, what are you polite to me? It's a wedding gift I give to your wife and her classmates." Charlie said earnestly, "No need, Warnya. If it is given, this matter will change its flavor." As he said again, the ancients said, "Give me enlightenment and fight my grudges." Giving enough is a kindness. If you give too much, it might turn into hatred. My wife just wants her classmates to wear a beautiful wedding dress. Married, so borrowing for one day is enough. Although Charlie is the young master of the Wade family, he has been struggling all the way at the bottom for many years, seeing a lot of ugliness of human nature. He knows very well in his heart that sometimes helping people cannot be too thorough. Sometimes, some things are not done as perfect as possible, but to be just right. Otherwise, the effect must be too far. It's like a friend's child is sick and hospitalized and needs to borrow 20,000, and you are really able to help, then you can lend him 20,000. If 20,000 is not enough by the time, let's talk about the problem of not being enough. But you can't take the initiative to give others 200,000 when others open to borrow 20,000. Warnya also knew Charlie's intentions, so she hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, please rest assured, I understand that. I will let people prepare a wedding dress specially for rent." "Okay." Charlie said satisfied, "Well, I am going to go directly to the hotel now. If you are ready there, then I can take her to your bridal shop first, put on her wedding dress and then go to the hotel." "No problem." Warnya hurriedly said, "Then I will send you the address of the bridal shop." Soon, Charlie received a location on WeChat. He directly changed this positioning into the navigation destination, and drove directly to lead the wife and Isabella behind, towards Warnia's bridal shop. The two top supercars got off the highway and drove all the way into the city. However, they did not go directly to the Hilton Hotel where Isabella had her wedding today. Isabella found that the route didn't seem right, and asked Claire beside her in surprise, "Clay, did you take the wrong way? The Hilton Hotel is not this way." Claire smiled slightly and said, "It's okay, let's just follow Charlie. Our car drives faster on this road, so time is still too much." Isabella wanted to ask what happened, but after thinking about it, she gave up. She felt that Claire was so good to her, she would definitely not harm her. Charlie drove the car directly to Warnia's bridal shop. When he stopped the car, even Claire was a little surprised. She just asked him to find a friend and borrow a better wedding dress, but she didn't expect him to borrow it here. This is the brand store of the world's top wedding dress designer Varawan. Even Claire himself did not dare to expect to have the opportunity to wear such a top wedding dress. Unexpectedly, her husband still has resources in this area. Isn't it a bridal shop? Should he also look at feng shui? When she was thinking, Charlie had already pushed the door and got out of the car. At this time, a tall, charming, and noble woman walked out of the bridal shop. Claire discovered that this woman she knew, and she was the eldest of the Song family, Warnia. Warnia came to congratulate her when her studio first opened. At that time, Claire felt that in front of a wealthy lady like Warnia, she was indeed a little inferior and somewhat at a loss as to what to do. At this time, seeing Warnia again, Claire's heart suddenly retreated, and she didn't want to get out of the car to face her face to face. However, when she thought that she had to help Isabella try on the wedding dress, it was impossible to hide in the car forever, so she had to bite the bullet and walk down. Warnia had already arrived in front of Charlie at this time, and respectfully said with an affectionate smile on her face, "Mr. Wade, you are here." Charlie asked curiously, "Why are you here too?" Warnia smiled and said, "Mr. Wade, you have a wedding dress requirement. Naturally Warnia will come to serve you in person." As he was talking, he suddenly saw Claire walking down from the Aston Martin ONE77 behind him. Her expression flashed with envy and jealousy, and said to Charlie, "Madam Wade is here too." Charlie nodded. At this moment, Isabella got out of the car anxiously, so Charlie said to Warnia, "The one next to wife is her high school classmate. Today she is getting married, so please prepare for her as soon as possible. A wedding dress that fits, we have to go after she puts on the wedding dress." Upon hearing this, Warnia said to Claire and Isabella quickly, "Mrs. Wade, and this lady, please move to the store to try the wedding dress." Isabella saw the huge brand logo on the door and found that this was Varawan's bridal shop. She exclaimed, "Claire, what does this mean?" Claire was shocked himself, but still pretended to be calm and said, "I asked Charlie to help you borrow a more suitable wedding dress, so he brought us here." With that said, she said to Warnia somewhat unnaturally, "Miss Song, I didn't expect you to be here. I will trouble you with this matter today." Warnia smiled indifferently and said seriously, "Mrs. Wade, you don't have to be so polite with me. You and Mr. Wade are both my distinguished guests. As long as you speak up, I will definitely serve you both." Afterwards, she stood dignified and made a gesture of asking, saying, "Please come inside." Claire and Isabella were a little nervous, wondering if they should go in at this time. Both of them knew that this brand of wedding dresses were expensive, and they were definitely not affordable for ordinary people. In general bridal shops, a slightly higher-end custom wedding dress can cost tens of thousands a day. The wedding dress designed by Varawan can be rented for one day at least in 6 figures. If you buy it, it will be more expensive, at least several million. Isabella felt that she doesn't deserve to wear such an expensive wedding dress. Even if she just touched it, she was afraid that it would be broken by others, and she was afraid that she could not afford it. So let alone go to the wedding in such an expensive wedding dress. And Claire didn't want Charlie to owe too much favor to her. Charlie saw that the two of them were still in a daze at this time, and said with a smile, "What are you two still trying to do? Go in, we are running out of time." Claire came back to her senses now. The time was indeed late, and if it was delayed, she would be late, so there was no other choice at the moment. If Isabella doesn't choose a wedding dress from Warnia, then she can only wear this old wedding dress on her to attend the wedding. On the way here, she asked Isabella about the origin of this wedding dress. She rented it from a very small wedding dress shop in the suburbs of the county for 300 a day in order to save money. She herself has been looked down upon by her in-laws. If she was still wearing such a cheap wedding dress, even a wedding dress where the lace had been shed, then her in-laws would look down on her even more. So she took Isabella's hand and said, "Isabella, let's go in quickly and let Miss Song help you choose a wedding dress that fits you." Isabella nervously said, "Claire, the wedding dresses here are too expensive, I dare not wear." Claire said hurriedly, "If you don't wear it, you can only wear this set on you. By then, your mother-in-law will not know what to say. You see that Charlie has borrowed such an expensive car. Since we want to show a pomp, then stand up all the way with pomp and let your in-laws take a look." After speaking, she looked at Warnia and said gratefully, "Miss Song, I really troubled you today. This is my high school classmate Isabella. Today she is getting married. Could you please help me choose a fitting wedding dress for her?" Warnia nodded and smiled, and said, "Mrs. Wade, you are too polite. Please leave it to me about Isabella." But Isabella still hesitated. Claire went out and took Isabella's hand directly, and walked to the bridal shop, saying, "It's nothing but today, you can't let your in-laws look down on you again." Isabella was pulled closer to this bridal shop by Claire, and as soon as she entered the door, she was shocked by the luxurious wedding dresses inside. No woman dislikes wedding dresses, so the two of them just took a look and were deeply attracted by the wedding dresses in the store. Warnia, the eldest lady of the Song family and the current head of the Song family, acted as a waiter. She brought them both to a row of wedding dresses and said with a smile, "Mrs. Wade, Isabella. This wedding dress is usually used for leasing. Isabella can choose any one from here today." Claire hurriedly asked, "Miss Song, are the sizes suitable? My classmate's body is relatively thin." Warnia laughed and said, "These wedding dresses are very cleverly designed, and there are many adjustments inside, so as long as most people wear them, they will look exactly the same as tailor-made, so you can rest assured. After all, Warnia looked at Isabella again and smiled and said, "If Isabella is fancy, please tell me. I will let the wedding assistant to try on the wedding dress for you." Isabella couldn't make up her mind for a while. After all, for her, the things here were completely beyond her imagination. So she pinned her hopes on Claire, who was beside her. Claire helped her choose a very beautiful tube-top wedding dress, and said, "I think this one is very suitable for you. It is dignified and elegant, and it also shows the collarbone, which is very temperamental." Isabella hesitated for a moment, and said, "Then let you, I really don't know how to choose." Warnia smiled and said, "Mrs. Wade has a very good vision. This wedding dress has the highest appearance rate here, and I think this one is also very suitable for Isabella's figure and temperament." Immediately afterwards, Warnia greeted two very professional wedding assistants. The two immediately took off the wedding dresses and respectfully took Isabella to the fitting room. After a few minutes, Isabella wore a white and elegant tube-top wedding dress, somewhat unnatural, walked out of the fitting room. Claire's eyes suddenly lit up and exclaimed, "Isabella, you are really beautiful in this wedding dress." Isabella said shyly, "This wedding dress is too delicate and too expensive. I have playing drums in my heart for fear that I might break it." Warnia said with a smile at this time, "Ms. Isabella, you don't need to have such a heavy psychological burden. Since you are Mrs. Wade's friend, you don't have to worry about this wedding dress being worn by you. Let me take any responsibility." Isabella said nervously, "How embarrassing." Warnia smiled and said, "Ms. Isabella, there is nothing to be embarrassed about. The wedding dresses in our shop are fully insured. If there is a problem, we will discuss with the insurance company. You can wear it with confidence." Isabella was relieved when she heard that there was insurance. Seeing that there is not much time left, Charlie said to Claire and Isabella, "Since this wedding dress is suitable, let's just wear it and leave, otherwise it will be too late." Claire nodded and said, "Okay, let's go to Hilton." After that, she looked at Warnia and said with gratitude, "Miss Song, thank you so much for today." Warnia smiled slightly, "Mrs. Wade, you are polite, this is what I should do." When Isabella heard Warnia say her own name, she was stunned, as if struck by lightning. "Warnia? Isn't this the famous Miss Song? My God, the Song family is the largest family in Oris Hill. The Song family's eldest lady is so polite to Claire and her husband? How did my high school classmate suddenly become so powerful?" At this time, Charlie also said, "Miss Song, thanks for your hard work, we will leave first." Warnia's beautiful eyes shone with luster, and said with a smile, "Mr. Wade, why are you so polite?" As she said, she thought of the situation when she kissed Charlie at the time, and her cheeks turned a little blush. When Claire saw this scene, her heart was tense. Why would Warnia be shy of her husband? This kind of shyness is obviously not the state that normal friends should have. At this moment, Claire felt jealous. She speculated that Warnia should have a favorable impression of her husband Charlie. Otherwise, she could not look at her husband with such a look. This made Claire suddenly realize that she and her husband seem to be far from close enough, and because of this, there is a certain distance between the two. This distance is especially easy for a third party to intervene. If two people's feelings are very close, and their hearts are close to each other, it is naturally impossible to leave any gap for the third party to use. Thinking of this, she suddenly had an unprecedented impulse in her heart. At this moment, Charlie saw that she was still in a daze, and said to her quickly, "My wife, we have to go quickly, or we will be late." Only then did Claire recover, nodded unnaturally, and said hurriedly, "Then let's go quickly." Warnya sent the three people out of the store all the way. Seeing that they all got on the car, she returned to the store reluctantly. Charlie launched the limited edition Bugatti Veyron and drove towards the Hilton Hotel. At this moment in the Hilton Hotel banquet hall, a man dressed in a decent suit with a groom's corsage on his chest was looking anxiously at the time. Next to him stood a woman in her 50s with a cold face. This woman said with an angry face, "Carden, that Isabella is too uncultivated, right? What time is it? She is not yet. Make it clear that she didn't put our family in the eyes." Carden hurriedly explained, "Mom, you don't know that Isabella and her family live in Wu County, which is several tens of kilometers away. I said I would drive to pick her up. You didn't let me go. The phone is confiscated, and Isabella doesn't have a car in her house. Don't know how to get here. Or you can return the phone to me and I will contact her." Carden's mother said coldly. As she said, she spurned contemptuously, "I told you a long time ago, don't marry a girl from a poor family, you must not listen. If you don't have money, you don't have education. You marry such an uncultivated person and bring her home. Are you trying to piss me off?" Carden's expression was a bit ugly, but he didn't dare to disobey his mother directly. After all, his mother's dominance at home was very powerful, and even his father could not provoke her. At this time, I heard Carden's mother say again, "Tell you Carden, today our relatives are all here, everyone is waiting to see the poor wife you find, before 9:30, if this Isabella is not here, then the mother-in-law must be laughed at by all my relatives. At that time, I don't think your marriage will end, let Isabella go and beat the child, or I will give her 200,000, and she will give birth to the child in our grandson's family." "Mom," Carden said with a gloomy expression, "at this time Isabella is about to pass the door, why do you have to have trouble with her?" Carden's mother said disdainfully, "I tell you, if she dared to pass the door, I won't be able to get through with her in my life, her hard days are too early." On the side, Carden's father also said, "Carden, you really should listen to your parents about this matter. Now we are married, we must pay attention to the right person. Our family dare not say that it is a wealthy family, but it is worth tens of millions. Among the wealthy families, relatives, and friends, our family is the best. If you listen to me, find another rich lady who is equal to or richer than our family, then the strength of our family lies in the grandson among the big family, it's even better." Having said this, his father sighed with regret, "I say that you are a disobedient child, it is not good to find a woman, but you have found a woman whose family is so poor. By then, our family will not let these relatives and friends make a joke about it." Carden's heart was incomparably painful. He naturally treated Isabella out of sincerity. The two were together when they were in college, and they have never quarreled for so many years. They have always been in love with each other. Don't know how many people envy their extremely stable feelings. In his heart, if he and Isabella can get the blessing of his family and live a good life together, he will definitely become the happiest man in the world. But he couldn't understand why his parents had to block his marriage in many ways. Although Isabella is not the child of a wealthy family, she is indeed a rare good girl. It's a pity that the snobbish parents can't see the advantages of Isabella. They just thought that Isabella's family had no money and no power, so they looked down on her in their hearts and didn't want her to pass. No matter how they persuaded or begged them, they were still unwilling to change their original intentions. Even now, Isabella was pregnant with his own flesh and blood, and they were still full of contempt for her, which made Carden very painful deep in his heart. He even thought that if his parents are really not optimistic and do not support his marriage, then he might as well wait until the wedding is over and take Isabella away from home. At this moment, there are less than 5 minutes left before the 9:20 deadline. Isabella still did not appear. Carden couldn't help worrying in his heart. He worried whether Isabella's parents stopped her and prevented her from marrying. At this time, Carden's mother whispered to her husband with a smug face, "In my opinion, it's impossible for the Jones family to let Isabella get married. After all, we didn't even give them any money. If you don't go, you can say that they don't give their family face at all. Her parents won't get a penny from us, and they're slapped like this, they will definitely not let her marry Carden. So I guess, today is the same. It's a drama that makes the grandeur give up." Carden's father said painfully, "Then the cost of this big show is too high. Hilton has dozens of banquets, plus weddings, and we spent 4 to 5 million. Carden's mother raised her eyebrows and said, "What is 4 to 5 millions? As long as my son can leave that poor woman, I would be willing to spend even 1 billion. As she said, she lowered her voice again, and said excitedly, "Let me tell you, Sister Lu told me that Mr. Shui's daughter had returned to China some time ago, and she broke up with her foreign boyfriend. Mr. Shui's wife is right now. He said that he wanted to find someone for her in Oris Hill. If our son can be with Mr. Shui's daughter, it would be of great help to our family." Carden's father frowned and said, "I heard people say that the foreign boyfriend of Mr. Shui's daughter was a black man. Is it a bit? What's the matter?" Carden's mother blurted out, "The most important thing is that if we can conclude with Shui and become in-laws, we will definitely do better business in the future. Making money is the most important thing." Poor Carden didn't know what his parents were making at this time. He was still waiting for his beloved woman to appear. But as time passed, he also began to feel a little worried. He was afraid not because Isabella changed her mind, but because Isabella's parents would not agree with her to marry in the end. At this moment, there was a whistling sound of supercar engines on the road. The grandchildren at the door and their relatives and friends were all attracted by the beast-like engine sound. Then someone shouted. It turned out to be Bugatti Veyron. "Really?" Carden's cousin, Harbin, looked at the Bugatti Veyron that was approaching in the distance, and said dumbfounded, "This is a limited edition of Hermes, there is only one in the country. I was at the Oris Hill International Auto Show some time ago. I have seen this car. It is said that this car and another Aston Martin ONE77 were bought by a mysterious rich man at the same time, but since then, I have never seen this car come out. I did not expect to see them here." Having said that, he immediately took out his mobile phone and constantly adjusted the focus to the distance, wanting to take a clear photograph of this Bugatti. At this moment, someone exclaimed, "Here you go." The next one turned out to be an Aston Martin ONE77. What a fairy day is today, and two top sports cars suddenly came. These two cars add up to 1 billion. Harbin, his eyes are almost falling off. He hurriedly said to Carden, "Hey, look at the magnificence. Don't you like Aston Martin ONE77 the most? Today is really eye-opening." Carden was also a little surprised. But he really didn't feel the mood to watch the supercar at this time. All he was thinking about was Isabella, wondering if she would come today. Charlie was driving the Hermes limited edition Bugatti Veyron at this time, and he had already driven into the entrance of the Hilton Hotel and headed straight for the banquet hall. Everyone was even more surprised to see these two sports cars coming to the banquet hall. Today, only Carden himself is married here, because today is not a good day for marriage. The reason why Carden's parents chose to get married today was because they deliberately disgusted Isabella's parents. They have already thought of several countermeasures. First of all, the best way is to directly let the Jones family give up this marriage. Secondly, if the Jones family does not give up this marriage, then their couple will not let this marriage come true. They even had plans. If Isabella appeared today, they would be in front of everyone, sarcastically and satirically at Isabella, forcing her to give up marrying her son anyway. If this still can't be achieved, they have the final killer. The killer's trick is very simple. 1 cry, 2 troubles, and 3 hangs. If the son wants to marry Mrs. Jones today, the two of them will directly threaten to commit suicide here, making the whole wedding a mess. At that time, this marriage will definitely be impossible. Seeing the two sports cars approaching gradually, Carden's father said with a look of surprise, "Harbin, did you just say that these two cars are worth 100 million in total?" Harbin waved his hand, "Uncle, I didn't say it, it was a friend who said it, but the sum of these two cars is indeed worth 100 million, and it is more than 100 million. What's more, the two cars are owned by one person." Carden's father couldn't help cursing, "It's so popular. I want to buy an entry-level 7 Series BMW, but I hesitated for a long time. Two cars are worth more than 1 billion. Who is so rich? Is it the Song family? Don't know." Harbin said, "The identity of this car owner is quite mysterious, and they are very low-key. After buying this car, it seems to be the first time it was driven today. It's awesome." Carden's father sighed, "I bought a car for more than 100 million, but I didn't drive it very well. Isn't it just money to burn?" While talking, the two sports cars arrived and stopped at the entrance of the banquet hall. Everyone was even more surprised. Are these two cars really coming to the banquet hall? In the banquet hall, there is only one family to hold the wedding. Could it be that they came to this wedding? However, the family understood very well in their hearts. In the whole family, the richest family man is Carden's father, but only tens of millions of assets. As for the others, the best are thousands. Nearly a few million in net worth, at best can be regarded as the middle class of Oris Hill, but not the upper class society. So because of the social status of their family, how can they know such a great friend? When everyone was puzzled, Charlie took the lead to open the door of Bugatti Veyron and stepped out of the car. When the crowd saw him, they were shocked to speak. Charlie is really too young, and he looks only 25 or 6. He can afford to drive such an expensive luxury car at such a young age, which makes everyone think he is very unusual. After Charlie got out of the car, the Aston Martin ONE77 driven by his wife Claire had also slowly stopped behind his car. Because the light outside the car is brighter during the day, and there is a reflective film inside the car, it is impossible to tell from the outside who is sitting inside. Everyone also focused their attention on the Aston Martin at the back, waiting to see what big man was in the car. Charlie stepped up to Aston Martin's co-pilot and stretched out his hand to open the door. Afterwards, Isabella, who wore Verawan's custom wedding dress with a nervous face, stepped out of the car. When they first saw her, the groom's family still didn't react. Their first thought was, whose bride is this? Why is it so big that 2 top sports cars are used as wedding cars to pick her up? Carden was also a little surprised at first sight, but then, he recognized this beautiful bride in a wedding dress. Isn't this Isabella? He was shocked, but he didn't care too much. He ran to Isabella with joy and said excitedly, "Isabella, you are finally here." As soon as these words came out, the whole family was struck by lightning. It was at this time that everyone finally realized that the bride who came out of the Aston Martin ONE77 co-pilot was the poor daughter-in-law who was about to marry her grandson, Isabella. Everyone was completely stunned. The situation of Isabella's family is very clear to the entire Sun family. Her parents wandered around at home, occasionally doing part-time jobs, and also fishing for 3 days and drying the net for 2 days. And there is a brother who is lazy and worthless. It can be said that the life of a family of 3 is a mess. In addition, their home is not in Oris Hill City, but in the surrounding counties, which means that their home does not even have a valuable worth. It is said that the house they lived in has a history of more than 20 or 30 years, and it has not even sold for 300,000. The members of the Sun family are also very clear that the Jones family is determined to ask for more gifts from the Sun family so that they can pay the down payment for the house for their lazy son. This kind of family conditions, in the eyes of the Sun family, is simply the bottom of the bottom. Therefore, apart from Carden, no one in the entire Sun family can look down upon Isabella. But they didn't understand that Isabella, who everyone looked down on, came with a limited edition Aston Martin ONE77. Just when the whole Sun family was stunned, Claire also got off the Aston Martin's main driver's seat. Looking at Carden, she smiled politely, "Carden, we have not seen each other for some time. Congratulations to you and Isabella, happy wedding." Carden was also shocked when he saw Claire. Claire was Isabella's high school classmate and a good friend with a good relationship, so he met Claire several times under the recommendation of Isabella, and they were considered acquaintances. As for Claire's family situation, he also heard about it. He had heard before that Claire's family had a company specializing in decoration. It was not large, but not small. The girl was married to a live-in son-in-law, and this live-in son-in-law doesn't seem to have much ability yet. However, in his impression, the Wilson Group seems to be a company with a market value of tens of millions or about 100 million. Some time ago, there was a rumor that it seemed to be on the verge of bankruptcy. In this case, how could Claire afford to drive an Aston Martin ONE77 worth tens of millions? But even though he was very puzzled in his heart, he still didn't show it. He smiled politely at Claire. "Claire, it's been a long time since I saw you. I didn't expect you to even drive Aston Martin now." Claire's expression was a bit embarrassing, and was about to tell him that the car was borrowed by her husband, but at this time, Charlie interrupted and said, "Actually, these two cars have been bought for a long time. The last time Orris Hill International Auto Show I bought it at that time, but I am relatively low-key, so the two cars have not been driven." When everyone heard this, they all exclaimed. It turns out that this is the long-known mysterious rich man at the auto show. The news that both luxury cars were bought by one person at that time really shocked the entire Orris Hill. Along with this shocking news, there is another very interesting anecdote. Junwei Gao, the eldest son of the Orris Hill International Convention and Exhibition Center, was beaten by the security company's security because he tried to touch the two cars without success. At that time, everyone said that this mysterious rich man must have a very unusual background, otherwise, it would be impossible to even lose the face of the Gao family. Today everyone finally saw the real body of this mysterious and rich man, but they did not expect him to attend Cardin's wedding. Cardin himself was stunned. He couldn't help but exclaimed, "I heard that these two cars have been in the city for long time, but since the auto show, I have never seen these two cars come out again. I didn't expect you to drive the car. Participating in my wedding, it is really flattering. I am so grateful." Charlie smiled faintly, and said arrogantly, "You don't have to thank me, I don't give you the face, I give Isabella the face." When Cardin's parents, as well as other relatives of the Sun family, and friends from all walks of life, heard this, they were all too shocked to speak. "Isn't this Isabella a girl from a poor family?" Parents are incapable of not talking, and are still idle. The important thing is to think about getting something for nothing every day. Isabella was born in such a family, how could she know such a rich person? If he drives two cars at random, it is worth 100 million, so wouldn't this person be worth tens of billions? At this time, Cardin's father immediately became fawning. So he walked towards Charlie and said with a flattering smile, "Oh, gentlemen, I am Sun Duwang, Cardin's father. I really didn't expect that you would be able to enjoy your face to attend the dog's wedding today. It really made the whole place so brilliant. Just, don't know what to call you?" Charlie glanced at him contemptuously, and said disdainfully, "You can call me Charlie Wade." Sun Duwang was a little surprised. How old are these years, and there are people claiming to be sons? Could it be those young masters with strong backgrounds? In this way, it is really meeting the true God. So, he was very excited and indulged, "Oh, hello, Mr. Wade. I am in the flour business here. There is a flour mill in Orris Hill. Maybe you have eaten our flour. Our flour brand is called Wheat Leaf." Charlie frowned and asked, "Ahan, isn't that the name of other TV series?" Sun Duwang said embarrassedly, "Don't we also want to get some heat? People are gold powder, I am flour, but it's not bad." Charlie snorted coldly and asked him, "Boss Sun, you married your daughter-in-law today. Why didn't you send a convoy to pick up the bride at the bride's house?" Sun Duwang and his wife looked at each other with embarrassment, not knowing how to answer. After a moment of silence, Sun Duong hurriedly said with a smile, "Oh, Mr. Wade, you don't know, we have already found a very impressive team, but something happened to that team temporarily, so." "A temporary accident?" Charlie frowned and asked, "Even if the wedding team has an accident, do you not even have a car in your own home?" Sun Duong looked sorry and said, "I'm really sorry Mr. Wade, I'm also in a mess for a while, I didn't care, I ignored Isabella, I'm sorry." After finishing speaking, he was very busy and promised, "Don't worry, Mr. Wade, when Isabella passes the door in the future, our family will definitely compensate her." When Cardin on the side heard this, his heart was immediately overjoyed. Originally, parents did not agree with his marriage to Isabella anyway, and even this morning they were still complaining to him, even threatening him, even if Isabella passed the door, they wouldn't let her get better life. Unexpectedly, now that Claire and her husband drove 2 luxury cars, father's attitude immediately changed so much. Thinking of this, he was overjoyed, and he was a little more grateful to Charlie and Claire. At this moment, Cardin's mother Su Likan pulled Sun Duong aside and reprimanded in a low voice, "What are you talking nonsense? Have you forgotten what we said before? Never let that woman in the door of home." Sun Duong hurriedly said, "Have you not seen that Isabella has such a great friend? If we neglect others, what if they blame him? Blame it on us." Su Likan said angrily, "I don't care how old this kid surnamed Wade is, but I know one thing, this kid surnamed Wade can't give our family a penny. Our son will really marry. Isabella passed the door, and the Wade couldn't help us, so why should we give him face like this? Is it because Isabella knew him, and we were willing to let Isabella be our daughter-in-law?" Sun Duong couldn't help asking, "Then what do you mean? Now that everyone is here, can our wedding continue?" "Of course we can't continue." Su Likan scolded annoyedly, the family surnamed Jones didn't know if their brains were broken. "We humiliated them so much. They even let Isabella marry. It's really a mischief." She said, "Busy again, you will talk less later and look at me. I will definitely not let this Isabella enter the door of Sun's house today." Su Likan is a typical egoist. Anything, she only considers one thing, and that is whether it can bring benefits to her. If it can bring benefits to her, even if it is a garbage picker on the side of the road, she will greet them with a smile and make a full gesture, but if she can't bring her benefits, even if she is the President of the United States, she won't bother to pay attention. So even if Charlie and his wife drove a luxury car worth more than 100 million to send off Isabella, Su Likan still did not change her opinion of Isabella. She knows that these things of face are imaginary, and only the benefits that can be obtained are real. What if Isabella knows rich friends? Can this money give her a point? Can she take care of business? Can she take the house to the next level? If she can, then she will naturally treat her with a nice face, and even offer as an aunt, there is no problem. But if you can't, you still won't be able to enter the gate of my son's house today. The reason for putting up this banquet and this battle was that she didn't want to directly oppose the marriage and make her son hate herself. Therefore, she agreed to hold the wedding first, and then looked for various ways to find faults, satire, and sarcasm, forcing Isabella to give up actively. The son can't blame her in this case. Now, she have plenty of reasons to trouble Isabella. The biggest reason is, since today is the wedding, why didn't her parents come? So she walked up to Isabella and said coldly, Isabella, where are your parents? Why didn't they come? Isabella hurriedly said, Auntie, my parents, they. As Isabella said, she couldn't help but hesitate. In fact, she knew very well in her heart that she was married today, but her parents did not show up. This is indeed unreasonable. And now the future mother-in-law asked her this question, she didn't know how to answer it. Seeing Isabella not speaking, Sulikin yelled coldly, Oh, Isabella, you are still big enough. I know a few wealthy friends, but my future mother-in-law is not in my eyes. I will talk to you. You just ignore it, don't you? Isabella hurriedly waved her hand and explained respectfully, Auntie, it is true that my parents are a little unhappy, so they may not be here today. Please forgive me. Oh, hello. Sulikin said angrily, you can't look down on our house if you are together, do you? Your parents are really interesting. They don't even show up when their daughter gets married. Look at all the Oris Hill. Do your parents do things like this? If this is going to be spread, where can we put the face of our family? Isabella's eyes were red, and she hurriedly apologized and said, I'm sorry, my parents' situation is really special. They have been unhappy because of the bride price. They were not very happy when I came out this morning, so please forgive me. Unwilling? Sulikin twisted her eyebrows when she heard this, and suddenly shouted, It's really unreasonable, what are the conditions in your family? What are the conditions in our family? You're married to our family, then you have climbed a ladder. Not happy yet? Why? Can't you look at our house? If you don't look at our house, then simply stop here and you don't need to marry over. Hearing Sulikin's words, Isabella's tears suddenly flowed out. When Carden saw his fiancée and was so humiliated by his mother, he was a little bit overwhelmed. He hurriedly said, Mom! Marrying Isabella is the life of the two of us. As long as the two of us can live well, we don't want to care. There are so many. So don't worry about it too much. It's not too early. Can you just prepare for the wedding? That won't work. Sulikin looked at Isabella with disgust, and said contemptuously, I am just mad in my heart. Since I was beaten to marry your dad, I have never suffered such a grievance. Why did it seem like we had climbed them up high? Your dad and I were waiting here early in the morning. Our relatives and friends also came early in the morning, but what about their home? Except for the bride, none of the others came. This is to look down on people and despise us after making it clear. Isabella quickly waved her hand and explained, Auntie, you really misunderstood. My parents really didn't mean to look down on you. They were just a little angry, so they didn't come. Sulikin shouted coldly, It's useless to talk so much to me. Getting married is an important matter in life. You are not an orphan without a father or mother. How can you attend the wedding by yourself? I grew up so much and I have never heard of my parents. Those who are still alive but do not come to the wedding will not only lose face when it spreads out, but it is also not lucky in itself. Speaking of this, Sulikin gritted her teeth and said, Isabella, I'll leave it here today. If your parents don't come, I don't think this marriage needs to be carried forward." As soon as these words came out, Isabella almost collapsed. She finally relied on the help of Claire and Charlie to escape her parents' obstruction and came to the wedding. She thought that it would be worthwhile to marry Carden even if she turned her face with her family. She didn't expect that after she came, she realized that her husband's family still waiting for her. Claire couldn't see it at this time, and she said angrily, "Auntie, do you know how much Isabella has suffered and how much price she has paid for this engagement?" Sulikin raised her eyebrows and looked at Claire, and said, "You girl, don't know you, so I don't want to offend you, but there are some things, we have to make sense. I married my daughter-in-law today and invited so many relatives. Friends came to join in, but the wife's house didn't even come out alone. Have you ever seen anyone doing things like this?" Claire hurriedly said, "Isn't this a special situation? Isabella's parents really have a lot of opinions on this matter." Isabella also made a lot of determination to turn her face with her family to marry Carden. Sulikin curled her lips, "Oh, our family can't afford it. Let me tell you, when you get married, you must follow the old rules. If the bride's parents don't come, the marriage will not end. The King of Heaven and you come and talk to me. It's useless to say." Claire said angrily, "How can you do this?" Charlie stopped Claire at this time, looked at Sulikin and asked with a smile, "Okay, I don't think you should spend so much effort here to find various reasons. Everyone is an adult, so just say it straight. How can you agree to hold the wedding as usual when Isabella's parents are not here?" Sulikin smiled and said, "It's very simple. Our family is looking for a daughter-in-law. It is the right thing to do. But Isabella and her family are so poor. I can bear it for the happiness of my son. Her parents can't look down on people so much. I forbeared them, but at this time, they shook face with me. In that case, let's just do business. How can we say that our family is a wealthy family with a net worth of tens of millions? If Isabella wants to marry us, she must bring a dowry of at least 10 million, otherwise it will be skipped." As soon as Isabella heard this, the good temper that she had tolerated for a long time was almost wiped out by the other party. She didn't expect that Sulikin, who had always been a troublemaker between herself and Carden, would even bite back at this time, pushing all the responsibility to her family. So she couldn't hide her anger and said, "Aunt Sue, if you had said that you didn't want to let me pass, then I would be begging you for nothing, but you said that you promised me to have a wedding with Carden. What does it mean to obstruct in every way?" Sulikin herself disagrees with her son marrying Isabella. But the reason why she agreed to hold this wedding was to take his responsibilities as cleanly as possible. Therefore, Isabella made her family faceless today and made her unable to lift head in front of relatives and friends. With this alone, he can stand on the moral high ground and refuse her to marry into the grandson family. This is also the representative of the smart parents in daily life. When wise parents and their children have some kind of dispute, they often try not to confess to them. If the decision is to resolutely and undoubtedly reject the child, if the child fails to pass this hurdle in the future, he will definitely blame her, and even hate her. But in another way, the effect is naturally much better. Now that she is on the moral high ground, even if her son Carden is dissatisfied, he can't express it. Because he has been put off by her now. If he is still desperate to defend Isabella at this time, then he is against the entire Sun family. Isabella's parents did not come, and all the people on the scene of Cardan's marriage felt offended. That only son, Cardan, absolutely couldn't bear it. Sulikin was right. At this time, Cardan felt extremely uncomfortable. He didn't even know what to do. If he follows the mother's words, then this marriage will definitely not be completed. If he doesn't speak, how can Isabella bear the pressure that he refers to? If you are facing Isabella, doesn't it mean you have slapped all your family in the face? Seeing Isabella's uncomfortable tears at this time, Claire felt very upset, but in this case, she didn't know what to say. No matter how many difficulties are behind this matter, Isabella's parents did not come to her wedding. This is indeed a great deal of others' grasp. If the game cannot be reversed, then the marriage, it is estimated that it really will not be completed. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became extremely embarrassing. Charlie, who had seen everything through, didn't say a word at this time, just watched Sulikin's performance coldly, and had already figured out the countermeasures to punish this woman. At this moment, a black BMW X6 drove over. The car stopped, and a woman in her 50s walked out of the cab. When Sulikin saw this woman, she greeted her with surprise, and said, "Sister Lu, why are you here?" The one named Luja is a close friend of Sulikin, who has a very good family situation and has a good relationship with the Xue family. Xue's family runs several large supermarkets in the local area. Although they are not as good as Carrefour or Walmart, they are still very marketable in the surrounding districts, counties, and suburbs. Sun Duwang's family flour mill has been selling locally in Oris Hill. His flour has two relatively large sales channels, one is a large supermarket like Carrefour or Walmart, and the other is a medium-sized chain supermarket like Swegia. The flour mill industry has relatively low technical content and fierce competition. There are a lot of big grain and oil brands like Arawana and Fulanman in China. Their brands are relatively strong, so their products are selling very well. In every city, there are at least a few local flour brands. Therefore, a small brand like him can only have a certain amount of sales locally, and is very dependent on sales channels. If the sales channels give him more display positions and buy more goods, he can make more money. If the sales channel does not show him a place or purchase his goods, then all his flour will not be sold. Several local grain and oil brands want to establish a good relationship with the Xue family, so that they can get more resources and shares from the Xue family, and can greatly increase their sales and profits. Therefore, whether it is Sun Duwang or Sulikin, they have been sharpening their heads, wanting to fawn on this line. This is why Sulikin especially hopes that her son, Cardan, can come together with the daughter of the Xue family. If he marries the daughter of the Xue family and become their own daughter-in-law, will the family's flour still be sold? Maybe it doubles in 1 year and triples in 2 years. At this time, this sister Lu looked at Sulikin with a bit of displeased expression, and said angrily, "Likin, you don't regard me as a friend too much. Your son is going to get married. You don't tell me. I helped your son get on the line with Mr. Xue's daughter, aren't you cheating me?" As soon as Sulikin heard this, she hurriedly pulled Sister Lu aside and said in a low voice, "Oh my sister, this is a long story. Let me tell you this. It is impossible for my son to get married today. Sister Lu said angrily, who are you lie to? Your banquet is about to start, and you are sloppy with me? Su Liken hurriedly explained, my sister, let me tell you the truth. My son was blind before. He was looking for a girl from a poor family. This girl has to be poor and pauper. She wanted to marry into my house. In order to achieve her goal, she got pregnant with my son's child. I did this today because I wanted to embarrass her and make her give up. Sister Lu asked, what if this girl doesn't give up? Su Liken sneered, anyway, it's impossible for me to let her into our house. If she doesn't give up, just let her go. It has nothing to do with our house. Sister Lu's expression eased, and she nodded and said, I'm looking for you to talk about the Xue family. What's the matter? Su Liken got excited, and hurriedly asked, what did Mr. Xue say over there? Sister Lu whispered, didn't I tell you that Mr. Xue's daughter has returned from abroad? I also talked about a black boyfriend before. Yes. Su Liken nodded, didn't you say that she has broken up with that black man? Sister Lu sighed, the breakup is a breakup, but it was just found out 2 days ago that this girl is pregnant. Su Liken said dumbfounded, hey? Pregnant? With that black man? Sister Lu said helplessly, yes. The point is that this girl is very awkward. She has to give birth to this child. You said Mr. Xue is just this daughter. If this daughter is unmarried and gave birth to a child, then his face where you put it? Indeed. Su Liken smacked her lips and said, this thing is really a bit difficult. Sister Lu looked at Su Liken with deep meaning, and whispered, Liken, there is a good thing now, don't blame my sister for not taking care of you. Su Liken hurriedly said, Sister Lu, you say? Sister Lu said cautiously, Ms. Xue's wife told me in private that if your family is willing to marry her girl, and at the same time wait for her girl to come out and be the father of this child, Mr. Xue is willing to give 30 million dowry. In the future, half of the shelves in the flower area of his supermarket chain will be exclusively for you. Su Liken's mood was a bit tangled at this time. The 30 million dowry is certainly very attractive, but the key to this matter is to let her son marry a pregnant woman. Isn't this what people often say about being a father? Although she is not a young woman, she still have some understanding of these buzzwords. However, when she thought that Mr. Xue had opened his 30 million dowry and returned various resources to support, Su Liken began to look forward to it in the depths of her heart. In her opinion, as long as more money is given, it is not a big problem for her son to be a father. But the key point of this matter is that if the other party is pregnant with a Chinese child, it's okay to say, then you can explain to your relatives and friends and say that the two have gotten pregnant in private, so they got married. In the face of money, after the child is born, he raises the child as his own. After waiting for 2 years, let her give birth to her own son. But the point is that Mr. Xue's daughter is still pregnant with a black child. If this really allows her son to marry her, when the child is born, his son will not be pierced in the backbone? Thinking of this, Su Liken hesitated somewhat. Seeing her hesitation, Sister Lu whispered in her ear, Liken, let me tell you the truth, Mr. and Mrs. Xue are very anxious now. They didn't know about their daughter's pregnancy before, but now the problem is. Don't hurry up. Dealing with it, when their daughter is pregnant, Mr. Shui and his wife can't hold it on their faces. Su Liken's heart moved. If you look at it this way, then Mr. Shui should be very anxious now. That being the case, let yourself be better off. Thinking of this, Su Liken said immediately, Sister Lu, to be honest, this matter is indeed a bit too shameful. We also have the heart to help Mr. Shui, but we can't let people blame my son's nose in the future and call him a catch. Sister Lu hurriedly said, so Mr. Shui also understands your family's situation. If you are willing to suffer this grievance, Mr. Shui will definitely give your family a little more money. Liken, let me be honest, earning some money these years is a lot more. What's more, it's still 30 million. Ordinary people can't make so much money in a lifetime. Shui always thinks about your family, mainly because of your child. All aspects of it are quite suitable, and they don't lose face when they are married to your family. Speaking of this, Sister Lu hurriedly added, to be honest, Mr. Shui offered such good terms. If he went to find someone else's house, they would have rushed to agree. I advise you, don't miss this good chance. Su Liken smiled and said, Sister Lu, I know you are also kind, but to be honest, if this kind of thing is spread to people with no money, they must rush to agree, but our family it's a bit of a foundation, Mr. Shui's price is really low. Sister Lu looked at her and asked, Liken, I have a good relationship with you, so let's not go around in circles. You can just tell me the number. For me, I will quickly reply to Mr. Shui if Mr. Shui has no objection, so the two parties decided on that, and then they decided on the date, held the wedding, and received the certificate. Su Liken said in a low voice, let's do it like this, Sister Lu, please tell Mr. Shui and his wife, just talk about this, and the dowry can't be less than 50 million. As for the flour resources in the supermarket, most of it must be allocated to my family. If they agree, then we don't choose any dates. You see, my banquet is set up, and the wedding rainbow door has not written a name. Just have a family to send her daughter over, we will have the wedding today. After speaking, Su Liken smiled and said, Sister Lu, their daughter is pregnant. This must not be delayed. The sooner the better. In addition, if you help me with this, sister, I will go back privately. I'll give you 2 million in benefits. The main reason why Sister Lu was so enthusiastic about this errand was that Mr. Shui had promised her that if she could find a good man for her daughter who would be willing to accept the baby, then Mr. Shui will give her 5 million. After all, Mr. Shui is such an only child, and said that he didn't want his daughter's reputation to be bad. Therefore, in the eyes of Mr. Shui, it is very worthwhile to spend more money on this matter. Now when she heard that, Su Liken said that she was willing to give her another 2 million. Sister Lu was also very excited. This thing is done, that's 7 million. The money is too easy. Thinking of this, she immediately took out her mobile phone and called Mr. Shui. As soon as the phone call, she smiled and said, Oh, Mr. Shui, there is good news to tell you that the old man's wife is interested in your proposal. Oh? The other party asked excitedly, what do you say? They agreed? When can the wedding be held? In fact, Mr. Shui and his wife had already fallen in love with Sun Duwang's son, Carden. The young man looks very energetic and has a good character. What is more rare is to graduate from a prestigious university. The best thing is that he hasn't been married yet. Although his daughter is pregnant with a foreigner, he doesn't want his daughter to be looking for a second marriage divorce. Naturally, it is best to find this kind of unmarried person. Moreover, the family conditions of Carden's family are also good. They will not be wronged by his daughter. The best thing is that Sun Duwang's business depends on him. This means that he can always hold him if his family dares to be married. If it's not good for their daughter, then they will cut off his income directly. Then they will definitely have to obediently provide for their daughter as an aunt. So, Mr. Shui smiled happily and asked, "Is that son of the old Sun family willing?" "If he is willing, it would be great. I have seen this kid, good, really good. If this thing can be done, then I really have to thank you very much." Sister Lu said with a smile, "Mr. Shui, don't worry, I will definitely do my best to help you with this matter. However, I talked to my grandson's daughter-in-law. What she meant was that you have to prepare some more dowry." Mr. Shui asked subconsciously, "Isn't 30 million enough?" Sister Lu smiled and said, "Mr. Shui, you also know that this kind of thing is really not easy to make a decision. With less money, I'm afraid that the grandson and the couple will finally consider whether or not to agree." Then, Sister Lu was very busy and added, "Mr. Shui is really dissatisfied. The son of the old man's family was going to have a banquet at the Hilton Hotel today, but the daughter-in-law and the grandson who are going to marry are not looked down upon by 10,000. So now the old man's wife is making trouble here, just to prevent the daughter-in-law from entering the door. Aren't you in a hurry? If you agree, the old man's family's conditions can now be brought back quietly and follow the old man's son have a wedding. To be honest, Mr. Shui, we really can't hide the situation. Wait a while, the belly is full, so where you go, you can't find this kind of good thing that can be done immediately." After President Shui heard this, he immediately compromised in his heart. All his worries are that his daughter's reputation will be ruined and affect his life's happiness. Now there is a good candidate for a son-in-law, and the magic is that the wedding can be held immediately. This action is so fast that it is hard to find with a lantern. So he just thought for a while, and immediately agreed and said, "Okay. You tell the old man, 50 million, a point will not be less, I will take my daughter over, first of their husband's wedding it's done, and then tomorrow I will entertain my friends and relatives to host a dinner with our new in-laws, so that the marriage of the two children is done." Sister Lu also said with excitement, "You are still good at it, Mr. Shui. No wonder you can make a lot of money, so you can make a decision so quickly and arrange everything so appropriately. I think the whole Oris Hill also admires this ability of you, so once you come, then all the problems will be solved today and you can sit back and relax." Mr. Shui laughed loudly on the other end of the phone, "This matter has bothered me. I couldn't sleep for several days. Today I can finally solve it all at once. Sister Lu, thank you. I'll let my wife and daughter prepare. Take her to Hilton and the son of the Sun family, hurry up to have the wedding. If the wedding goes well today, I will add another 1 million to you." Sister Lu was trembling with excitement. Although she is quite rich, she has never made such easy money. If this is done, wouldn't she be able to earn 8 million today? Excitedly hung up Mr. Shue's phone, she hurriedly came to Su Likan and said with a smile, "Likan, this matter, my old sister, my old face, will be saved." Su Likan hurriedly asked, "Sister Lu, what did Mr. Shue say over there?" Sister Lu said with a smile, "I have already discussed with Mr. Shue, 50 million gifts, he has nothing to say. He will bring his wife and children over immediately." Oh my god! Su Likan was about to have a heart attack when she heard this. She and her husband worked hard for half a lifetime, and all the assets in the family totaled 30 to 40 million. But unexpectedly, now that Mr. Shue marries his daughter, he is willing to give 50 million for the gift money alone. And it's still cash. What could be more secure than cash these days? It is equivalent to saying that as long as the son marries Mr. Shue's daughter, his family's strength can be doubled or even tripled immediately. Because there are a large number of medium-sized chain supermarkets on Mr. Shue's side, as long as he allocates all the flour resources to his home, his family's income is not enough, and he will go up like a rocket. Thinking of this, she said excitedly to Sister Lu, "Oh my good sister, but I must thank you so much. Don't worry, I promise you will have no less money." Sister Lu looked at Isabella in the wedding dress from a distance, and whispered, "This poor girl, you have to deal with it quickly. Mr. Shue said that it is fast, maybe in half an hour." "That's it, if the girl is still here by the time, what do you tell Mr. Shue to do?" When Su Likan heard this, she immediately patted her chest and said, "Sister Lu, don't worry, I will drive this Isabella away. I'll let someone beat her away." Sister Lu asked again, "Your Cardin has nothing to do with this matter, don't look back and solve everything, he is not willing again." Su Likan waved her hand and said disdainfully, "He dare to disagree, and his dad and I will cut off all relations with him. At this time, it is his turn to say no." After all, Su Likan stepped to the front of Cardin and Isabella, and said coldly, "Cardin, your mother, I still said that. If Isabella's family can't get 30 million dowry, then this marriage will be ignored." 30 million! Cardin and Isabella were shocked. Then Cardin couldn't help but questioned angrily, "Mom, are you crazy? You just said 10 million, and it became 30 million in a blink of an eye. Where do you let Isabella's house go to get so much money? Even ours. We can't come up with so much money." Su Likan grabbed Cardin's sleeves and blurted out, "You come with me, I have something to tell you." After finishing speaking, she greeted her husband Sun Duwang again, "Old son, come here too." Sun Duwang hurriedly followed. The family of three came to a corner with no one. Cardin asked angrily, "Mom, what are you going to do? Don't you want to see my happiness so much?" Su Likan sternly said, "Why do you talk to your mother? I raised you so big, do you want us to be happy? I just don't want to see you jump into the fire pit. What's the situation in Isabella's house, don't you know? If you marry her, in the future, her parents and her younger brother will have to lie on you and suck your blood. Not only suck your blood, but also suck me and your father's blood. Do you want to piss us off? Or do you want to kill us?" Cardin immediately promised, "Mom, don't worry. After I married Isabella, the two of us are responsible for our lives. We will not ask you for a penny. Don't talk to me about these useless things. Sulikin gritted her teeth and said, your father and I have never been short of money since we were young, so you don't know how it feels like a penny to stump a hero. If you two really rely on yourself, you will starve to death sooner or later. As she said, Sulikin waved her hand and commanded in a high-pitched tone, you two will listen to me. This time there is a great opportunity in front of our family. I seized it. It can be doubled several times, neither of you guys should drop me the chain. The father and son both asked in surprise, what great opportunity? Sulikin immediately told the father and son about Mr. Shui's family. When Sun Duwang heard this, he suddenly said with a little embarrassment, Likin, don't you let your son be the pick-up man. If that black child is born in the future, where will my old man's face be put? Sulikin asked back, Sun Duwang, you have worked hard for most of your life, didn't you make 30 or 40 million? As long as your family has no objection, our family can get 50 million cash in one day. You two listen to me. It's cash. Sun Duwang's expression suddenly became tangled and struggling. It is true that it is really embarrassing to let his son be the receiver, but compared to 50 million, face is really not that important. Sulikin said while the iron was hot again, Sun Duwang, don't forget, Mr. Shui agreed. After our two families are married, they will allocate most of the flour resources to our house. At that time, our flour mill won't have to double the income. Now it earns several million a year. Maybe it will earn tens of millions a year. If you count the gift, 1 year later, our family's assets exceeded 100 million. Hearing the 1 billion figure, Sun Duwang immediately compromised. He turned around and said to his son, Carden, pick a wife for nothing. Not only do they don't want you to pay a penny, they also post tens of millions to you. What a good thing! Carden said coldly, yes, it's really good, so you can hug your grandson directly, and you'll still have a reed-made black grandson. Sun Duwang didn't feel ashamed at all, and said, give me 50 million, let alone a black grandson, just a black son, I am happy too. Carden blurted out, you don't have to waste your tongue. I will never agree to this matter. Sun Duwang sighed, and pointed at Carden with a look of hatred stronger than iron and steel, and said, you kid, you have little knowledge and ignorance. You have never made money since you were a child, and you have never made money embarrassing since you were young. You should have a hard time for a few days so that you know how hard it is to make money. Yes. Sulikin echoed, this old saying is good, money is hard to make sh, t, and it is hard to eat. You missed this opportunity today. You may not be able to earn 50 million in your life in the future, you will regret it at that time. Yes, don't blame being a mother, I didn't remind you today. Carden said immediately, no matter what you say, I can't agree. No? Sulikin was anxious, and blurted out, no, yes, if you don't agree, not only will I not let Isabella pass the house today, but also you will not live at home, move out. Carden said, move out as soon as I move out, I have long wanted to move out. You. Sulikin said annoyedly, if you move out, I will stop all your bank cards for you, and you don't want to get a cent from home in the future. Carden said, "It doesn't matter. I don't ask for money from my family. I and Isabella work together to make money. The rent and living expenses we can afford are definitely enough." After all, Carden threw the bridegroom's corsage on the ground, and said, "I won't end this marriage. From now on, I will make money with Isabella and serve wine by ourselves." Then he ignored his parents, strode towards Isabella, took her hand, and said, "Isabella, we will not have this banquet today. From today on, I will move out from home. Let's rent a house in Oris Hill and live together. We can make money from marriage slowly. Do you think it's okay?" Isabella nodded, moved, and said, "Yes. I will listen to you." Carden smiled and said, "That's okay, then let's go." After finishing speaking, he looked at Claire and Charlie again, blurted out, "To you two, I am really sorry today. When I and Isabella have a banquet by ourselves, I will definitely invite you both." Claire smiled and said, "Then I and Charlie can just wait." She also felt that Carden should sever contact with such a wonderful family. His family was not friendly and would not let him marry Isabella, so he could simply take Isabella out to work hard. Charlie also admired Carden's approach, and said with a faint smile, "When you two have a wine next time, I will give you the wedding car." Carden immediately bowed to him and blurted out, "Thank you so much." At this time, Sue Licken stepped over and said angrily, "Carden, if you dare to go with this woman today, then your father and I will cut off our relationship with you. Don't regret it." What Sue Licken thinks is that in any case, they must promote the marriage with Mr. Shue's daughter. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity must not be missed. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.